Well, we are through the presidential primary, but we still have a few more elections before we get to the general in November. All throughout each of these elections, some of the most critical people making them run in our community are our election workers, otherwise known as election inspectors. West Bloomfield Township is seeking some more of those for upcoming elections in the coming months. And joining us to talk about these opportunities is West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder. Clerk, thank you for being with us today.
Good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Kevin.
Yeah, glad to have you on to talk about this, and a happy day to you as well. This is an important position. Our election workers, our election inspectors are critical to being able to run our elections efficiently, safely, and smoothly in our community. Tell us a little bit about this position and just how important it is to our local clerk's office here in West Bloomfield and in other communities.
Well, it's critical in every community, but it's especially critical here because of our size. We are a community of 67,000 residents and 57,000 registered voters, 26 precincts in 17 polling locations. So it takes a lot of staff to to conduct an election. We usually are between 250 and 400 people we staff up to on election day. So without a committed group of I don't want to say volunteers because they get paid, but when you look at what they get paid per hour, they're not coming for the money, they're coming for the reward of it. But it does take a large group of people to help make these elections run the way that we need them to. So we are lucky, and I know I consider myself a very fortunate clerk to have the number of people who are willing to step into that role. And we are constantly recruiting to make sure we do have enough people because people do retire after a period of time. I did take a look, Tyler. We right now have 79 people who've worked over 10 years and over 20 people who've worked over 20 years. So it is something that people find rewarding. When I'm recruiting people, I always tell them it's a very long day, everyone complains, and everyone comes back because they do feel like they're part of something big. And there's no better way to learn what goes on in an election process and to understand the checks and balances that are in place and to be reassured that there are many protections in place in an election and that your ballot does count. And there's just no better way to get that experience than to participate as an election inspector and learn. So we do need to, always replenish staff because we have people who retire. We have leadership positions, and it's a great opportunity for seniors that are looking for a way to get involved, but also our young people in our community that want something that's an outstanding entry on their college application or on their resume. It's a phenomenal entry in that capacity, and it gives them great experience. It allows them to many of them have become leaders in our precincts and have done it for years. So we are always encouraging everyone to get involved. We're happy to have, I'd rather have way too many than not enough. And I do, again, feel fortunate that we have so many people in our community willing to step forward and ensure that we can run the elections that we do as smoothly as we can. And we always have to staff. We actually just had in this last February election, I tell our inspectors, life happens. People get sick, people have deaths in the family, stuff happens. So we plan to lose about 10% on election day or within the week before. This year we lost almost 20% of our people were sick or something on that week before the election. So there was a lot of moving. And that's why we always have to have a ready group of people to step in when we have to fill those spaces to make sure that everything runs smoothly for our voters and our residents. So we work really hard at it.
There are election inspector positions open right now in West Bloomfield Township. If you are interested and you'd like to get involved in working our elections here in West Bloomfield, you can find more information on wbtownship.org. Again, that's wbtownship.org. West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder joins us on today's edition of the Splash Live. And there are, as you said, so many moving parts that go in behind the scenes to running our elections, and our election inspectors cover many of those moving parts. What are some of the roles and responsibilities that people may undertake if they do become an election worker?
Well, and I will tell you that, but let me preface that you do have training. So we don't just throw you out there and say, conduct an election.
course.
We understand that this is a job that requires precision and accuracy, and you get to practice it once, twice, three, maybe four times a year. So we rely on that training to supplement what you don't get in experience. So there is plenty of training, but the opportunities that exist are to either work in a precinct where there's many positions in a precinct. You might be the person greeting a voter. You might be the one working with, them as they fill out their registration card and checking their license. You might be the person checking them in on the computer or handing them out the ballot. And you may be the person standing at the machine that they scan their ballot through and giving them the sticker. That's their favorite part of the experience, when you get to give them their sticker. So there are lots of experiences in the precinct. We also have the opportunity to participate in a mini absent voter counting board that takes place back here at Town Hall on Election Day, where ballots that arrive after 4 p.m. the Monday before the election are counted at our mini absent voter counting board. Now, the county is partnering with us to count all of the absentee ballots that arrive before 4 p.m. the Monday before. So if somebody wanted to work in the county on Election Day instead, and there is a West Bloomfield pod, they would also be able to work in Oakland County on Election Day at the West Bloomfield pod. And one other option that is new this year is we started with early voting. We did have it last November, but there weren't very many precincts. So this was the first large all township election that we had, where we had early voting at the West Bloomfield Main Library campus. We had 888 voters that participated in it, and we have to staff that early voting center for 9 days, which includes the 2 weekends before the election and the week in between. So it's Saturday, Sunday, the Monday through Friday, and then the following Saturday and Sunday. No early voting on Monday. But that is also an opportunity. The county does staff that. The county has partnered with us throughout the county. It's been something that Lisa Brown did that helped the local clerks so much, because by providing those early voting regional centers, it has saved the township money in terms of equipment and staffing and everything. So it's been a really wonderful experience, and the feedback has been great. But that is another option, to be an election inspector and to work the early voting center. But that does typically, you're not required to work the whole week, but they do typically seem to schedule people who have more availability, just because it's continuity in knowledge that can persist throughout the week. But it's another opportunity to get involved, and the people who did it had a great time. We get notes after Election Day telling us that they want to be back with the same team they were with. They had such a nice day with them. They become a little precinct family. They plan their food, and they like to show me their spread when I go around to visit the precincts. But it really is an enjoyable opportunity, and I think every single person who does get involved, has a different appreciation and understanding of the election process, and feels very strongly that they are part of it, and it's rewarding. So I think it's a great opportunity, and that's why we're reaching out now to get more people involved and make sure we continue to have enough inspectors, as we do have people who retire, and offer the opportunity. It's a great experience, and it's a great time to come aboard. This will be an extremely busy year. We will have those precincts well staffed to make sure our voters can get through comfortably. But it will take probably 13-ish people in each precinct of 26 precincts. So I need a lot of people for this election, and then the absent voter counting board. So we did put an ad in the Beacon as well, and we appreciate, Civic Center TV and your constant support in helping us procure additional election inspectors as needed, and making sure that our voters have information. But we're just doing another, plea to have people join us. Call the clerk's office at 248-451-4848. Again, it's 248-451-4848. Or you can email electioninspector@wbtownship.org. We'll get you signed up. There's an application on the clerk's page at the township website. Lots of ways to get involved, and lots of opportunities. If someone wants information, I'm happy to give more information, but please also, I can't stress enough, send us your kids and young ones, because it's just fabulous for them to get involved. I made my own child work last year.
On that note, as you mentioned, the kids can get involved at certain ages. Lastly, Debbie, what is that early age limit in order for people to become election inspectors in West Bloomfield?
Okay, they can be 16 years old to become involved as an election inspector. If they're over 18, they do have to be a Michigan elector. But they can be 16 or 17 as long as I have 3 people over 18 already in a precinct, then I may use the 16 and 17-year-olds to get them involved. And we do try, Tyler, because we know that if they don't have a nice day, they're not coming back. So we really do try to make sure that they're with at least one of their peers, if not more, so that they do have an enjoyable day. And we really try to make it friendly for them to appreciate the experience and to find value in it. And that's how we get them to come, to come back for a couple years till they go off to college or whatever they do. And then hopefully they send their friends. And that actually has been what has happened in many, on many occasions. They've sent a friend or somebody from school, and we just kind of keep that funnel going. But we would like to expand. We had gotten up to a large number of young people, and we have just recently reached out to National Honor Societies and the government classes and the principals again to try to procure and recruit some more young election inspectors. It brings a different energy to those precincts, and it also brings really, native computer skills. So it's always a good thing too.
And a great way to get involved in the community. And as you mentioned, reaching out to local principals, NHS organizations, government classes, a great civics lesson as well. Clerk Binder, thank you very much for your time today.
Hey, Tyler, thank you. And thank you always for making sure that we get those important messages out. I very, very much appreciate you and Civic Center TV.